Okay, so conducting on-site audit, as I mentioned before, involve the opening meeting, document review, and lastly, closing meeting. So environmental audit can also be viewed as a performance improvement tool where the organisation ni maksudnya orang yang di-audit, okay, so the organisation gains a better understanding of how it compares to specified criteria in order to raise the standard of its environmental management. So meaning to say, so kalau ada orang datang audit, maksudnya dia tahulah apa salah dia, apa yang tak betul, and then the organisation boleh buat corrective action. Okay, so kalau tak ada audit, so dia macam shot sendirilah, buat je without anyone audit the activities. Okay, so management and staff of an organization become more aware of and also take more responsibility for complying with environmental regulations. Okay. So now look at the opening meeting. Okay, so previously for opening meeting, it will be conducted by the auditor and lead by the lead auditor. Okay, so the lead auditor will be doing the opening meeting. Organization which have a complex environmental issue at their location should therefore select auditors that have a depth of experience that can match the needs of the site, and also the one that can provide the right direction that the organization needs. Okay, so in order for the organization comply with some of the regulation. Okay, so dia kena cari auditor yang match dengan bidang dia lah. Okay, so for opening meeting, the roles and responsibility of the auditors, the audit shall be conducted by at least 2 persons. One must be the lead auditor. Okay, so the audit team should be independent of the organization that they audit to ensure that the objective of the audit can be achieved. Okay, so maksudnya tak bolehlah orang yang dia kenal ke, because they should be free from bias and any potential conflict of interest throughout the audit process. So as a basic guideline, the auditor should not be presently engaged with or have worked with the organization in 2 years prior to the environmental audit. Okay, supaya tak nak bias lah. Tak naklah orang yang berkaitan audit organization tu. Okay, so the lead auditor should not be from the same company that conducts the environmental monitoring at the organization. Okay. And then the lead auditor who leads the audit has the most responsibility to plan the audit. Okay, for example, to identify the team members and their roles and responsibility. Okay, so the lead auditor also take active role in the site audit, and also shall not delegate the task of the site audit activities entirely to the audit assistants. Okay, so in the opening meeting, firstly, they can introduce the audit team members and present audit scope and objectives, outline the audit approach, and also address questions or concerns of site personnel. Okay, so throughout the process, the lead auditor will maintain neutrality. Okay, so maksudnya tak boleh ada bias at all time, and does not assume the role of the officer, and also kena, easy to say, cannot be biased lah. Okay. Okay, next look at the document review. So during the environmental audit. Okay. The actual conduct of the audit includes collecting audit evidence, which is done throughout the process with maybe it can be in a form of interview with the key personnel. Also, it can be in a form of examination of documents, observation, and also by first tadi interview, the second one will be examination of the documents, okay, and then it can be in terms of observation of the activities, and then also the auditor also can collect environmental sample, okay, in order to collect the proof. Okay, so what does it mean by interview? Okay, so the auditor can interview the auditee lah. Okay, maksudnya the organisation. So the purpose is to get understanding and awareness of the relevant regulatory compliance issues. Okay, so before the interviews are conducted, a general interview plan may be prepared to keep the interview focused. So maksudnya dalam sebelum interview dibuat tu, dia dah ada soalan-soalan yang nak di-interview. Okay. So this plan identifies those to be interviewed. Okay, so dia akan select orang yang nak di-interview tu in one-to-one meetings at all levels. Okay, from management to operations. Okay, so daripada setinggi-tinggi, contohnya dia nak interview manager ke, sampailah ke sebawah-bawahnya. Contohnya dia nak tanya apa, operator ke, so it can be done. Okay. So the interview strategy should be aimed to collect information. Okay. That is interview. And number two, the proof can be done by examination of documents. So dia boleh check document which is this is examination of document also can be carried out during an audit. Okay. So it involves the examination of documents related to the organization environmental management system. Okay. So the auditor should ask for evidence of letters, contohnya. Okay. So the letters written or the application submitted to DOE. Okay, for certain area of non-compliances. Okay, so dia nak check lah sama ada betul ke tak orang ni buat. So kalau dia buat, mesti ada surat kan. So that is the examination of documents. Okay, so documents also can be in form of, contohnya written approvals, regulatory permits ataupun license. Okay, and then some of them will be, dia boleh check approved drawings and layouts. Okay. Okay, next, in order to collect proof, the auditor also can do observation of activities and condition. Okay, so basically, this observation is among the most important element in environmental compliance audit. Okay, so the auditor must be alert to abnormal operational conditions. Okay. Contohnya, dia datang dekat kilang tu nak check sama ada kilang tu follow the regulation ataupun tak. So, dia boleh observe lah. Okay. Ada ke tak? Contohnya, certain equipment tu dia kena ada dia punya regular maintenance. Okay. So, from the observation activities. Okay, so this should be followed up with site personnel until enough information is obtained, okay, to conclude on the potential non-compliance. Okay, so dia akan buat observation. And then, beside that, auditor also can collect environmental samples. Okay, so the collection of environmental samples during the compliance, during the environmental audit may be reasonable because, for example, if the DOE or the auditor is concerned that the wastewater treatment plant is undersized, okay, or the treatment system is not appropriate, so the auditor may collect treated effluent samples for laboratory testing. Okay, so this one can be done to determine whether the sample complies with the environmental quality, sewage and industrial effluent ataupun tak. Sama ada dia comply dengan regulation tu ataupun tak lah. So in order to check, so the auditor boleh ambil sampel, okay, collect environmental sample. So, okay, so other than that, at the end of the site audit, the auditor will need to summarize the key audit findings. Okay, so the lead auditor has the responsibility to ensure that the findings based on the factual evidence. Okay, so the audit team shall discuss their findings and agree on them before presenting in the closing meeting. Okay. So for the closing meeting, at the end of the site visit, a closing meeting is held to ensure that the organisation has clearly understood, okay, and acknowledged the audit findings. Okay, so itu tujuan ada closing meeting. Okay. So the lead auditor shall present the non-compliance findings and discuss them with the organisation. Okay, and also provide opportunity for the organisation to make further clarification. So tak adalah bila dia nampak certain non-compliance terus saman. No. So dia akan discuss dululah dengan organisation for the auditee to make further clarification ataupun untuk provide additional information yang sebelum ni tak dapat lah. Okay, that has been missed during the audit. Okay. So basically the closing meeting normally takes about 1 to 2 hours and the auditor should ensure that it is conducted in neutral manner. Okay. The next, these are the items should be included the audit report. Okay, so the audit report sorry, should identify the organisation audited and the client, and the agreed objectives and scope, and also the agreed criteria against which the audit was conducted. Okay, and also the period covered by the audit. Okay. Okay, so as for conclusion for environmental audit, so the environmental audit is a measure of the regulatory compliance status of an organisation. Okay, at the time of the audit, and it is an effective management tool untuk buat any corrective action lah. Okay, so therefore the organisation must demonstrate their commitment to comply with the regulatory requirements by documenting their proposed corrective actions and also submitting the corrective action to the DOE. Okay.